Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in and connecting with us again this morning to Coffee and Koinonia, where me and Ben will get together. We love to drink coffee and we love to discuss. We sit in the office together and quite often get sidetracked and discuss massive topics or tiny little things for hours on end. So we thought we would try and record some of these things and publish them out so people can tune into what we've been discussing. And if you've got your thoughts and your ideas, or you want to come and join us just to talk, to have fellowship, that deep connection with one another, not just as people that work together, but as people that are friends. So we've got some coffee this morning. I wanted to share. We're not getting any product placement for this or anything, but I've been drinking some of this coffee from Ethiopia by a roaster called Kiss the Hippo, and fantastic bags. So this coffee is from Ethiopia, and it is these guys source this coffee through something called direct trade. So with fair trade, you might not know this, but with fair trade, fair trade sets the price for the farmer. So say if you're the farmer and I'm buying it off you, and we've got 10 different farmers, I'm going to all give you, I don't know, £10 per kilo. So that's fair trade. Everybody's getting the same. Direct trade would mean I am paying you for the quality of your product. So if I have this farmer and this farmer, I'm paying you 10, but actually if your product this season is slightly more valuable, then I'm going to pay you some more money for it. So it won't drop down, and whereas fair trade will stay the same, direct trade encourages people and farmers and producers to be more creative and to strive after better. If people are before it, like if they're growing better, it doesn't say it on there. This is just head knowledge. You have to research it because some of this might be wrong. Sorry if you're a direct trade professional. But if a fair trade farmer is coming with a better product, and if through direct trade they'll be earning more for it. It's important that we think about how we source our coffee from all over the world. So this is what we're drinking. Check it out, Kiss the Hippo. They're from London. If Kiss the Hippo are watching and want to send us free things, they can do that as well. But this is very nice. Ethiopia, where coffee came from. So there we go.
Sweet.
Over to you.
I mean, that's interesting, isn't it? Because you're kind of talking about fair trade, how we look after people, how we give equal opportunities. And again, just thinking about the lockdown, we were chatting the other day and just talking about kind of some of the things that were really good that came out of lockdown, especially around the pace of life and just how things changed in our environment. And you said some really interesting things.
I mean, for all of us, there was some good stuff and there was some not so good stuff.
Yeah. Of course.
I liked being able to redefine your entire schedule, kind of. So and being forced to go out for a walk every day was brilliant, because it gets to a certain time and the roads would be quiet, the paths would be quiet, there'd be nobody around, and I know that just kind of surreal. You look back at it now probably differently in the moment, but the pace of life has completely changed. Responsibilities have dropped off.
They've changed, haven't they? Yeah.
Completely changed because you just couldn't do so much. We've talked about, you could hear birds singing more than you usually could, or you saw stories in the news of goats that were invading the village and coming down from the mountains and living in people's gardens and stuff like that, or stories from all over the world where apparently there was this sea life coming into Venice and these pollution clouds were lifted. I think there were some incredible things that
there was some
in there.
Photos of some key cities were in there, of Smogfield, and then kind of a month into the lockdown, how clear they were. I mean, I loved how the roads were quiet, and when people were out, they weren't trying to get somewhere; they were going out for a walk. And I don't know about you, I had some great conversations with Claire and their kids. Just because we would go out together for no other reason than to go for a walk. That was just great.
Yeah, I loved people that would you're connecting with. If you're going to do it over online or whatever, on the phone or on a computer screen, people were seeking you out. It wasn't just like, oh, we're going to hang out because we would have done, or we would have bumped into each other, or we would have mixed. It was like, no, I purposely want to spend time with you in our rooms in different towns. I want to connect with you and I want to have this time,
Yeah.
rather than just like it was a usual, like a habitual thing. Kind of all of our habits went out the window. We were into this kind of new way of doing stuff, and I think that was some really good stuff, some really good things. But it doesn't. I don't think it was never really set up to last, and we're kind of thankful it hasn't. But I think it's made us think, hasn't it?
So the roads are getting a bit busier now. I don't hear the birds. I hear the cars.
Yeah.
Less people are out for walks. More people are trying to get somewhere.
I don't go out for a walk every day.
Yeah, and yet so many of us, at least the people that I spoke to, talked about how much they enjoy that quieter life, and yet we're just picking up everything again. Why do you think that is?
Everything, I suppose everything we do has a cost, doesn't it? Like whether that is financially or environmentally or whatever. Like everything we do consumes stuff, and I don't know. It's like you. What's the famous saying? You don't know what you have till it's been taken away. Something like that. Like
kind of, yeah.
You're much more thankful for stuff when you know it's been limited. So
you don't know what you've got until you've lost it.
That's the
there
one.
you go.
That's the one.
Write in and tell us if that's right.
Someone will. But yeah, it's like, okay, well, I can't do this. I've been denied doing this, so like, there's no point fretting about it. But now, kind of, yes, we live in a slightly different world, but the majority of stuff I can do. We can sit.
We've just started
a couple meters apart, and we can drink coffee and chat. We can go out for dinner. We can go, and yeah, things are a little different. We can have church, like it's different, but we can still have it. Like all the things that we were denied, for good reason, have now been brought back. So we kind of just gravitate back towards them, don't we?
Yeah.
And we all, I think, a lot of us loved the state of the world. And we loved the peace and the quiet and the slowdown, but how much did we actually, like, do we love it enough to chase after it? Do we love it enough to make it part of?
That's a good point. I remember being out, at the top of my road and getting really, really annoyed because there were so many more cars out.
Yeah.
As I sat at the junction in my car trying to get out, and I literally thought that, and I caught the irony of what I just thought. I was annoyed everybody else was out, but it hadn't stopped me from still getting in my car to go to take.
And I guarantee you speak to all of those drivers, and they would prefer the roads quiet. Like,
yeah.
But how far do we all go as individuals to make that happen? Like, yes, I know we can't because we all have places we have work to go to or whatever. But everybody enjoys saving money. Everybody enjoys peace and harmony, hopefully, or quiet roads. Like, it's within our grasp. Like, we could all just walk to work. We could work from home. We could, I don't know, all quit our jobs and live in a moneyless society if we really wanted to.
So why, other than that last bit? So why don't we, if we all appreciated those cities that were clearer, that are now beginning to fog up again, what do you think is happening then? Do we not really care?
I think we care, don't we? Like, and we want it, and most of us, some of us, we don't want to generalise like everybody in the world, but it's yeah, we want positive stuff. We want good times. We want things to be looked after. We want the planet to the environment to be cared for. We want peace and quiet in our lives, and we want to love each other and treat each other nicely. But it's ultimately like, how much do I want it? Because
provided it suits me.
At the end of the day, like everything is about us. Like, that's not true. Like, I'm not saying that that's a true fact that everything is about us, but we grow up and we live in a world where I am the centre of everything, and it's a conscious decision to put ourselves out of that. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so this is a harsh way of describing that. So could you say that perhaps actually what drives us is our selfish wants?
100%.
I know that might sound a bit harsh. I don't feel I'm selfish, but it didn't cause me to not go. I was only going up to Asda. Yeah, it didn't cause me to walk up or to use my bike. I went in the car. I mean, I know that's a bad example.
And I don't want people to get the wrong end of the stick, because we have to care about ourselves. Sometimes we have to put ourselves first. In terms of, say, first aid, for example, what's the first rule of first aid? make sure when you're giving first aid to somebody
that you're right.
Yeah,
yes.
There's no way you can help somebody if you're also dead.
I'm not first aid at church.
But yeah, there's just that you consciously have to make the choice to put other people first, to put the people you work with, the people that you care for, and like as Christians we have to remember that like the God made that choice for us. Like like right, I'm going to do this for the sake of humans, for the sake of the people I love, and we have to decide almost every day. Right, who am I going to live for today? Am I going to live for myself, or am I going to live for a higher power?
Yeah. So Philippians 2, I think it is, and I'm paraphrasing now, but it kind of says that Jesus gave up his super God powers. Yeah, he laid everything down that would have made his life easy for the sake of us. Yeah, he was kind of willing to put that to one side. And here I am, because my bike is in the back of the shed and the side of my house is quite narrow, it's difficult to get my bike down, it's just easier to jump in the car. I mean, Jesus giving up everything and dying, me choosing to use my car instead of my bike, I mean, gosh man.
I could get up half an hour earlier every day and not use the car for my general journeys to and from work or to and from where I'm going, unless it's obviously if it's like super far. But it's so much easier to not do that, and I suppose we're blending the spiritual stuff. We're blending faith and a relationship with Jesus, and we're blending it with like how we treat the environment and how we make choices. I think all of those things do mix, and we're maybe a little bit all over the shop with this, but we have to set an example. We have to push through in these things, like we have to be conscious of what we do, because all of our actions, although we said at the top, like all of our actions have a cost. Everything we do does have a cost. Like
so what's our response as Christians, as representatives of Jesus, to see this change come about?
Good question. What do we have to do? We have to continue, don't we, to put other people first. Whether that is the people we are in relationship with, that we can see, that we can talk to, that we can touch, although you can't touch. We like the immediate people around us. We have to continue to make the choice to put other people before us, but also think about longer term or further afield. Like all of our interactions day to day, like with people, like it's easier to see the impact of your actions, isn't it? So like but it's harder to see, like, actually if I'm driving my car every day, or if I'm not caring about where my food comes from or whatever, like actually it doesn't affect me. If I'm not caring direct trade, if I'm not caring about who produces my coffee beans, like and I'm just importing them from anywhere and paying whatever, like I never necessarily have to think about the person that has grown those beans and picked them off the bush. But actually all of my actions in life, when we add them together, are gonna they have an impact, don't they? It's like, what's the cheesy Christian thing about starfish? Throwing starfish. I can't.
Oh dear, Jabs. Yeah, so there's thousands of starfish on a beach. We look at the beach, and there's no way I can save all these starfish, so we don't. But if you pick up one and throw it back, it meant the whole world to that one. Yeah. You know,
and that's about our sharing about Jesus. That's about loving people, but it's also about looking after where we live, looking after the ocean, looking after the rainforest. Like all of those things are love and care.
So this is actually about not looking at me and what works for me, but actually what is trying to look outwards towards other people. If I don't care what process went through to get my coffee, I just want the best coffee I can drink, then actually I'm just really focusing on me. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's not about me.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
Well, thanks for tuning in. If you've got any thoughts, any questions, pop them in the comments below. If you've got any topics you think would be good for us to discuss, let us know again, and stay tuned for the next episode of this, and we'll see you soon. Thanks everyone.